In this recap of Giants OTA practices, we've got touchdowns, we've got pressure, we've got sacks, and we've got batted passes. We've got all of it right here. What is going on, guys? What is going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back into another video, and this one is an exciting one. As far as I hear, this is probably the best OTA practice so far this season, with the offense and defense both trading blows, a clash of titans. From everything that I'm hearing right now, the defense is really starting to pick up. You've got the front seven really forcing a lot of pressure on the offensive line. Keep in mind, there is no pads, there isn't a lot of contact, but it's still a good thing. And we've got the defensive backs, including a lot of the young guys, making a lot of plays. I usually like to wait to the last minute, but let's start off with the biggest play of this OTA practice. Jalin Hyatt, guarded well by Deontay Banks, and makes a leaping one-handed grab into the end zone, leaping a couple of feet in the air with good coverage from Banks. Now, Banks let up a touchdown here, but he still had a really good practice. We'll get onto him later. But I love to see it from Jalin Hyatt. I know a lot of people have this belief that he's just a burner. Now, I don't think he's the most avid route runner, but one thing that's probably his second best trait is his hands. He is able to catch a lot of different passes in different ways, and he showed it here. And this one came from Tommy DeVito on 11-on-11 drill. So it's interesting to see Tommy DeVito. I think he's working with the first team. They're kind of rotating him in as Daniel Jones is still not cleared for full practice with the 11. DeVito also threw touchdown passes to Darius Slayton, but let's move on to Drew Lock, as he had a handful of touchdowns, including 2 to Bryce Ford Wheaton. He's a guy that I'm very interested. Now, we heard about Ayir Asante yesterday on how he's been working with the first team. Interested to see if Bryce Ford Wheaton is working with the first team as well. I can't wait to see that type of showdown. They are 2 different type of receivers, so it's going to be really down to the wire. Keep on the lookout during the preseason, the competition between Ayir Asante and Bryce Ford Wheaton. They have different skill sets. One is an outside burner, the other is a slot shifty guy. Let's see if they bring one or both or neither of those guys on the roster. And if they bring one of them, let's see what they prioritize, the outside or the slot. Locke also hit Theo Johnson for a touchdown as well. Theo Johnson seems to be having a pretty decent camp. Now to Deontay Banks. He had the lone interception here. I've been saying it all OTA season long. This is the 6th. I sound like a broken record. This is the 6th time out of 6 OTA practices that Deontay Banks is mentioned in a good light. He is absolutely locking down in these OTA practices. Yes, he gave up a ridiculous catch to Jalin Hyatt. It was an acrobatic, great play by both the quarterback and the wide receiver, but the rest of the OTA practices, he has been on the money. It's a complete night and day sort of start to his season compared to his rookie season, where he struggled mightily. And now the corner beside him, Cordell Flott, who recently was given the cornerback 2 position by the New York Giants coaching staff, and they have belief in him. Brian Dable believes in him. Jerome Henderson, the defensive back coach, believes in him. We haven't heard much about Shane Bowen yet on where he stands with Cordell Flott, but it seems like the coaching staff believes in Cordell Flott, and it's an interesting transition as Flott was more destined to be a slot cornerback, but due to circumstances of Dory Jackson departing and the Giants drafting Drew Phillips, who most certainly kind of fits in the slot, Cordell kind of gets pushed out to the boundary. And he's been playing pretty well as of right now. Nothing really bad to note, but he had a couple of batted passes just today. Now, I mentioned this when it happened, but I'll just reiterate it again. Cordell Flott said this about winning the job and the confidence that he feels from the coaching staff. He says, "It gives me confidence too, that the coaches have confidence in me, that the team has confidence in me. Like I said, just continue to be the best version of myself." I can't wait to see what Cordell Flott's going to do. I had a real big question on who is going to be that guy after the Giants did not address the position in the draft or free agency. I'm happy to see Flott there. I just hope that he improves. Now, we spoke about Drew Phillips. Let's talk about him again. The rookie slot corner is actually playing pretty well. Now, I already predicted this already. He's having the Darnay Holmes effect. I'm not a true believer yet in Andrew Phillips, but I'm loving what I'm seeing. I am absolutely very pleased on how much we are seeing of Andrew Phillips. He had 3 batted passes today, 3 passes defense, 1 on Darius Slayton and 2 on Isaiah Hodgins. We know that Isaiah Hodgins is pretty big for a receiver, and Drew Phillips was able to guard him just fine. Now, I love Drew Phillips' type of style of play. He is very annoying. He is all up in the face of the wide receivers, gets a lot of contact in there. Even though he's a little bit undersized, he still plays to a bigger size than he actually is. And so in his coverage, I have no problem with that at all. He's very quick, very fast, very smart as well. Now, one rookie we really haven't been talking about as much is Tyler Nubin. I think I've heard more news about Darius Muasau, our 6th round pick, more than Tyler Nubin, but he's making an appearance today. Tyler Nubin was also newsworthy as he broke up a couple of passes today. No doubt it was going to happen at some point. Nubin has really good anticipation and IQ skills. Is one of the biggest things that a lot of people loved about him in his time as a safety in Minnesota. Now, he doesn't have the groundbreaking speed. He's not the pure athlete that a guy like maybe Xavier McKinney was, but he has extreme IQ and he has anticipation and knack for the football. Another safety who played well today was Jason Pinnock, who had a couple of batted passes himself. So the defensive backs most certainly were on the money today. Even Trey Hawkins, who we haven't heard of at all in these OTA practices, did well today, knocking away a back shoulder throw, which is not an easy pass to defend at all. I was really rooting for Trey Hawkins too, man. I really want to see him in the mix for that cornerback 2 spot. But listen, I'm all about whoever is the best person for the job, man. At the end of the day, do I like Trey Hawkins and I want to see him, that feel-good story, I want to see him start? Yes, I do. But if Flott is the better player, hey, I'm all for Flott. The defensive backs throughout most of the day had the offense at the point where the quarterback was holding the ball too long and they kept having to call the play dead. That is something you don't see in OTAs, man. You just throw the ball. There's no risk in it, but they've been so locked down today. The quarterbacks were forced to hold onto the ball with no pressure, so they had to blow the play dead. But in the times that they didn't blow the play dead, the pressure was getting there as we had a multitude of edge rushers get to the backfield today for would-be sacks. You guys know that there's no sacks called during OTAs, but there was a number of edge rushers that also got into the backfield today. And it's all names that we're rooting for in this season. Kayvon Thibodeau, Azeez Ojulari, Brian Burns, and even Boogie Basham. I forgot we even had the guy on the team. And how can we forget about Dexter Lawrence, who just dominates every play? I don't mention Dexter Lawrence in these videos because you guys know who he is. I don't need to keep explaining it over and over and over again. He had a couple of batted passes today, and when does he not dominate on the field? Come on. Now, I'm only talking about Dexter Lawrence right now because he was asked about him possibly being the best defensive tackle in the game right now with Aaron Donald retiring. And this is what he had to say. It says, yesterday, Lawrence was asked by a reporter about the title of best defensive tackle in the NFL being up for grabs following Aaron Donald's retirement. Lawrence said, it could be. I just got to keep working on my weaknesses and getting better with my strengths. It took me by surprise, honestly. Look, 10 years is a long time, but you expect more things like that. But he left the game on top. A lot of respect to him for what he brought. There probably won't be another one of him. A lot of respect. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Aaron Donald is an absolute Hall of Famer right now. He is a Hall of Famer, no doubt about it in my mind. But when you look at Dexter Lawrence and you look at how productive he is on the field and the impact he brings to that defensive line, I am willing to say right here, right now, a lot of you guys are going to call me crazy. I am willing to say that Dexter Lawrence is probably the best pass rushing nose tackle of all time already. I mean, you can't name me a better pass rushing nose tackle, okay? A guy that's lining up at 342 pounds at zero tech and is able to force the amount of pressure that he forces. He is an absolute animal. There is nobody at his size that is able to move the way he does and affect the passing game the way he does. You look at Dexter Lawrence and you just say, damn, that is a run stuffer if I've ever saw one. That's not even his specialty. Yeah, sure, he's good at it, and when he's on the field, the Giants' run stuffing stats are through the roof compared to when he's not on the field. but his strong suit is pass rush. And you would have never thought that from a guy his size at the physique he's at. 342 pounds is absolutely no joke. And there, like I said, even a guy like T'Vondre Sweat, who's coming out into the draft at like 360 pounds, cannot move like Dexter Lawrence. I'd be willing to say, I know it's a small sample size. He only really came onto the scene his second or third year in the NFL, but I am willing to say that he is the best pass rushing nose tackle of all time. Not pass rushing defensive tackle, pass rushing nose tackle of all time. But that is my opinion. Let me know yours in the comment section below. What do you guys think about this OTA practice? I'm really enthusiastic about this one. I thought it was their best practice so far this year. Really excited to see what the rest has to offer, and I'm really excited for training camp and Hard Knocks, man. This is going to be a fun off season. If you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you guys subscribe here. We'll be covering everything New York Giants, especially in the near future. So that being said, I am Kid Blue, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Woo!